Sada Cruzeiro takes the South American Club Championship. Micah, Maa and Kooy are heading to Russia. Radostin Stoychev resigns. David Smith is leaving Zaksa, and the Champions League keeps throwing surprises our way. All that and more in this episode of Volleyball News. As always, drop a like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll take care of keeping you up to date with the latest volleyball updates. If you want to watch live streams and matches from the top volleyball leagues, I'd love to see you in my VK group. You can join via the QR code on your screen or through the link in the description. Radostin Stoychev has stepped down. Verona has officially announced its split with the head coach. The Bulgarian coach submitted his resignation, and the club accepted his decision. After the tense events of the past few weeks, this outcome was expected. Under Stoychev, Verona made history by reaching the Italian Cup final for the first time and finishing 4th in the regular season of the Italian Superlega. It's already confirmed that next season, Verona will be led by the current Trentino coach Fabio Soli. Nimir Abdelaziz has become the first player in Japan's league history to score over 1000 points in a single season. The Dutch opposite hit this milestone in just 38 matches. Simply phenomenal. Before heading to Belgorod, Ivan Yakovlev managed to leave his mark in Zenit's history. The middle blocker scored 8 points in a match against ASK, setting a new club record of 2096 career points. In doing so, he surpassed Ural cameo. Alexander Sliwka and Cvetan Sokolov have signed with Halkbank. The experienced foreign players will join the reigning Turkish champions next season. Because of this, Micah might end up in Fakel. Halkbank will have too many foreign players next season, leaving the American setter without an open roster spot. Russian club Fakel saw an opportunity and made an offer to the 27-year-old player. Notably, Eric Shoji once played here. Valentin Krotkov will also be joining the team from Novi Urengoy, replacing Argentine libero Santiago Danani, who is moving to Zenit Kazan. There were earlier rumors that Italian libero Leonardo Scanferla might sign with Fakel, but the deal fell through. For the same reason as Maya, Kooy is also heading back to Russia. The 37-year-old outside hitter from Halkbank will be playing for Dynamo Ural next season. Georgi Zabolotnov has extended his contract with Belgorod. The 22-year-old middle blocker will continue with his home team at least until 2029. David Smith is leaving Zaksa after 6 years. The 39-year-old American middle blocker will be playing for Slepsk in the 2025-26 season. During his time with Zaksa, he won the Champions League 3 times and claimed multiple domestic titles. Alan Souza is returning to Poland. The Brazilian opposite confirmed that he'll be playing for Skra next season. He has been in top form in recent matches, scoring 132 points across 6 games with an attack efficiency of over 56%. Panu could be heading to Slepsk. The 27-year-old French outside hitter has received an offer from the Polish club, but is still considering whether to sign. Dutch opposite Wouter Ter Maat will be returning home next season to play for Orion Stars. The 33-year-old has spent the last 5 seasons with Turkish club Ziraat. Brazilian outside hitter Micah Santos is set to join Turkish powerhouse Fenerbahce next season. The 20-year-old, standing at 218 centimeters, is currently playing for Brazilian club Praia. His girlfriend Ana Cristina plays for Fenerbahce's women's team. Nicolas Uriarte, after a short stint in Italy, is heading to Greece, where he'll be replacing Dragan Travica at Olympiakos. Meanwhile, the Italian setter will be moving to Piacenza. This week wasn't packed with volleyball news, but we did get a ton of exciting matches. Let's dive into the European tournaments. Naturally, we start with the Champions League. If anyone thought the quarterfinals would be predictable, they were completely wrong. Right from the first day, we saw the perfect example. After stunning Berlin, Lüneburg was completely crushed at home by Aleron, proving how unpredictable this stage is. Then, in the next match, Monza took the opening set against Perugia, giving their fans hope for a huge upset. Yes, the visitors eventually won the next 3 sets, pulling off a dramatic comeback in the 4th, but something tells me we haven't seen the last twist in this matchup. But the second day brought even bigger shocks. Project Warsaw, a team that hadn't dropped a single point and had only lost 2 sets in the group stage, looked completely powerless against Halkbank. The Turkish squad, despite their struggles in recent weeks, simply steamrolled one of the tournament's biggest favorites. Leal was the standout performer, leading Halkbank to a 3-1 victory. Can't wait to see how the second leg plays out. But the biggest surprise came in the final match of this round, where Olympiacos hosted last year's finalists Jastrzębski. What could possibly go wrong for the Polish team? They won the first two sets and looked well on their way to the semis. Yes, Olympiacos dominated the third set, but at that point it felt like a one-off, not the start of something big. Turns out it was just an illusion. Backed by their home crowd, the Greek team pulled off a miracle comeback, setting up an epic second leg between March 18th and 20. Meanwhile, the CEV Cup semifinals also got underway, delivering two absolute thrillers. Both matches went to 5 sets. First, Resovia nearly saw their insane winning streak end in a home match against French side Tours, but in the end, the Polish team managed to grind out a tough victory. And Trentino? They had to fight back from 0-2 at home against Zerat. And let's just say the referees played their part in how things unfolded. First, they called a ball in that clearly didn't touch the floor, giving the Turkish side a crucial replay. Then Alessandro Micheletto got called for a carry on a serve-receive, one of the most questionable calls I've seen in a long time. The reigning Champions League winners responded well and took the next 3 sets, looking forward to the rematches on March 19th. March 19th will also see the final match of the Challenge Cup, where Italy's Lube Civitanova will host Poland's Lublin, hoping to force a golden set. Lublin had a great 4-set win at home, with Wilfredo Leon turning back the clock to his Italian league days, dropping 6 aces and 3 blocks on one of his biggest rivals in recent years. Over the past week, the first round of the Russian playoffs wrapped up. A quick reminder: to allow Russian teams to participate in an international tournament, the format was slightly adjusted. Each matchup consisted of 2 matches, with a possible golden set. But spoiler alert, no golden sets were needed. All the first leg matches ended in away victories, with only one not finishing in straight sets. That was Enisei, who managed to edge out Kuzbas in a tiebreak. But that wasn't enough to push them through to the quarterfinals, as they couldn't keep up at home and got swept by Kemerovo. SK, after their heroic playoff qualification, had absolutely no chance against the tournament's most dominant team at this stage, Zenit. Vladimir Alekno's squad completely crushed them in both matches. One of the most intense moments came in the return match between Dinamo and Gazprom Yugra, where they battled to a wild 36-34 set, but beyond that, it was a confident win for Dinamo. The only 5-setter in the return matches was between Dinamo Ural and Fakel, but there was a catch. By the end of the second set, the result no longer mattered in terms of standings, as the hosts had already secured their quarterfinal spot. Still, they fought hard and came out on top. So here are the quarterfinal matchups: Lokomotiv versus Zenit, Zenit Kazan versus Kuzbas, Belgorod versus Dynamo Ural. Initially, Dynamo Moscow and Dynamo LO were supposed to play just 2 matches due to Moscow's international commitments. But the Russian Volleyball Federation decided to stick with the original format. So, like the other teams, they'll now play a best-of-3 series, just starting a bit later. The first 2 games for 3 of the matchups will be on March 19th and 23, while Dynamo will start their series on March 24th. The second legs of the Italian quarterfinals were played, starting with 2 completely one-sided matches. First, Piacenza's serving dismantled Verona, and not even Numeri Keita could save them. 22-year-old Mandiracci picked up a well-earned MVP award as Piacenza took a 2-0 lead in the series. Lube Civitanova, however, bounced back and dominated Milan on the road, taking a convincing 3-set win to level the series at 1-1. Perugia also won in straight sets. Modena fought hard in the first 2 sets, but ultimately couldn't do more than briefly stress Perugia out. But the real shocker came from the least expected place. Cisterna took down regular season champs Trentino at home. It looked like Trentino might pull off another crazy comeback like they did against Zerat, but this time they didn't have enough in the tank. With a 3-1 win, Cisterna evened the series. Verona and Piacenza will play their decider on Saturday. The rest of the teams will take the court on Sunday evening. The Polish League is heading into the final stretch of the regular season, and beyond the playoff race, we got some fantastic matches this week. Starting with the relegation battle, Stal had no chance against Aileron and lost in straight sets. Barkom, on the other hand, bounced back after dropping the first set and secured a massive 3 points against Bedzin. Now, in the final round, Barkom will host Stal. If the Ukrainian side wins in 3 or 4 sets, they'll stay in Plus Liga next season. Stal only needs to take 2 sets to survive. Zaksa also needed to take 2 sets against Resovia to lock in the 5th seed, and they managed that, but it wasn't enough to win the match. Boyer put on an absolute clinic, helping Resovia extend their winning streak to 15. Skra and Project Warsaw also delivered a great match. After a disappointing Champions League exit, Warsaw needed a win to hold on to second place. It wasn't easy, but they pulled it off in 4 sets. An important away victory. Here are all the results from Poland over the past 7 days. The league table has just 2 key questions left to decide. Who will finish second and avoid Resovia in the playoffs by facing Skra instead? Who will stay in Plus Liga, Stal or Barkom? Any predictions? The Japanese league is still a while away from the playoffs, meaning there's plenty of competition left for the top spots. The teams chasing Blution, namely Wolfdogs and Sunbirds, showed no mercy this week. Nimir and his squad crushed Thunder in back-to-back matches, while Takahashi and Muzeski took care of Great Bears. Wolfdogs were hoping to close the gap on the league leaders, and it looked possible when Blution found themselves trailing 0-2 against Blazers. But the leaders pulled off a solid comeback to secure the win. Speaking of epic moments, the first match between these 2 teams saw a ridiculous 38-36 set finished off by a Yuji Nishida ace. And in the rematch, they kicked things off with another thriller, 35-33. Another exciting matchup came between Arrows and Stings, where they went the full 5 sets. The visitors took the win and backed it up with another victory in the second match, this time without much trouble. Here are all the results from Japan's volleyball weekend. Right now, it's clear that the top 3 are out of reach for the chasing pack, while Stings and Great Bears have officially clinched playoff spots. That leaves Blazers and Thunder fighting for the last ticket to the postseason. While the Brazilian league continues, today we're taking a look at the South American Club Championship, where the Brazilian teams dominated. In the semis, Sada Cruzeiro and Ceci faced off. After dropping the first set, the reigning world champions took full control and never looked back. Before that, Praia cruised past Argentina's Monteros in straight sets. They tried to use the same tactics in the final against Sada Cruzeiro, but in the 4th set they couldn't convert 8 match points, and in the crucial moments of the tiebreak they just couldn't show the necessary composure. Sada Cruzeiro not only wins the Club World Championship, but also adds the South American Club Championship title to their collection. Congratulations! And a big shout out to Ceci for securing the bronze. They took down Monteros in 4 sets in the 3rd place match. As you've come to expect, we're wrapping up this roundup with the Turkish Championship. And this time the tournament standings made things especially interesting. To add to the drama, all the teams fighting for a top 4 finish played at the same time. Galatasaray and Halkbank both secured convincing wins. For Galatasaray, that meant punching their ticket to the playoffs, but for the reigning champions, it all came down to the result of the Arkaspor vs Fenerbahce match. Grozer and company took the first 2 sets, but the visitors found the strength for a thrilling comeback that pushed the game to a tie break. And there, Arkaspor was relentless, grabbing their spot in the playoffs. In the end, Halkbank is out of the championship race. So now, Sliwka and Sokolov are headed to a club that won't be playing in the Champions League. In the semifinals, Ziraat will face Arkaspor, while Galatasaray takes on Fenerbahce. Thanks for watching another round of volleyball news. It's been a packed week, so I'm looking forward to seeing your thoughts in the comments. As always, huge thanks for your trust and support. And as usual, this was Nick. Love what you do and success will follow. See you soon. Bye.